Hello, all again. Hopefully, some of you watched my previous one. That was my first one, so it's probably kind of not so appealing. The first one's always the worst one. Uh, More on the coaching side of things. I was sitting here running through things through my head, and the biggest part of any sport and a lot of life is just the word team. I tell all my kids, together, everything makes it almighty. TEAM. I know there's an extra word in there, but they get the point. Not everybody on a team has to like each other. Everybody on a team does have to depend on each other at some point or another. That's a very important part of that. The highest levels of teams would be, example, military. All due respect to them. They have earned every bit of it. You have to rely on the team for basically your life. So my shouts out to them. Teams in our situations, football, soccer, in general, nothing goes anywhere without the team. I've had more discussions with kids about wanting to play one spot. Everybody raised their hand, says, I want to be running back, I want to be quarterback, I want to be a forward, I want to be a mid. And I try to explain to them that every part of the team works to have the ending that you want. Of course, girls have a tendency to stomp off and not talk to you for a while until you prove it to them. Boys in general, i.e. mine, will get mad, and they won't know it until it hits them in the face. My girls in soccer are starting to realize it. They're realizing that if I do my part, it helps everybody as a whole. And I think that's probably the most important part of any sport, is you've got to learn your role within the team. A guard is no better than a quarterback. If a guard doesn't block, quarterback, it doesn't matter what the quarterback does. If the guard doesn't block, they get tackled. They don't get the ball off. They throw an interception. Any point of that leads up to it. The same goes for a defenseman on soccer. If you decide not to do your job, what happens? They drive to your side and they shoot it every time. They're going to score every time. Nobody covers them. So I guess that's my biggest point of this, the whole team thing. You have to set aside all of your differences. You have to come together as a team. A team has to work together. A team has to get along. You may not get along with them outside of the team, and that's okay. There's nothing to shy away from. It doesn't call for you treating anybody badly or shunning them out of your life. I'm not saying that at all. A team should bring you all closer together. People from all different aspects of life, from the country to the downtown. Nobody's different in essence. Everybody, I shouldn't say that. Difference in different world. Everybody is unique in their own way. Example, my daughter, she plays 90% of her sports with one school and plays soccer with a different school. And what she's doing without realizing it, she's networking. She's making a better team, a better group, more people to talk to, more people to ask. It's learning to get along with people, especially with all the drama that goes on. If you eliminate that stuff, you make yourself avenues that you can get out of it. You're going to feel a whole lot better as a person. Take this weekend, for example. I'm going to be down my starting center defenseman. I talked to the team. They know who should be there, but they need to make that decision. I need to support that decision, and I have to agree with the decision. Over the year, we have gotten a lot closer as a team where everybody is on the same page. Everybody knows each other's abilities, where they're good at, where they're not good at. I've realized a lot of my flaws in my coaching, and I'm willing to accept that. I want the kids on the team to be able to accept that too. Accept it and move on, not accept it or don't accept it and harp on it or make it worse because you don't want to. I've had girls with extremely bad attitudes, but I approach them in a positive way, but I also tell them exactly what they did wrong. But following that, I do tell them why they did it or what they can do to fix it. And I've had really, really good success with the feedback from boys and girls about what they've done wrong or stepping up and taking responsibility that, hey, I was out of position or I was this or I was that. It's okay to be wrong or do something wrong. That's human nature. We all do it in our day-to-day lives. Work. I own my own business. Do I do things wrong? All the time. But I don't jump behind them with a bunch of excuses. I do a lot of things wrong. I try to do my best, but like I said, it's human nature. Boys and girls, really, once you scrape off the top of the emotions, they're kids. They want to get better. They want someone to show them how to get better. I have a lot of kids that know nothing about a sport the first year. I've went through that a lot, and it's stupid things. It's throwing a football or how to kick without using your toe. It's things that I constantly learn about also. As a parent, you always want to see your child do better. As a coach, you also want to see that, but you also want them to find spots. As a parent, nowadays, everybody wants them in the quote-unquote spot. Quarterback, forward. And that makes coaching extremely difficult. Because you can't have a whole team of forwards. You can't have a whole team of defensemen. But there's a lot of people that there's this cloud that hangs over. I don't want them on defense. Or I want them at quarterback, or I don't. It's a slippery slope. People just have to start accepting that kids are going to naturally fall into the cracks where they fit. Where they fit, where they excel at. If I can have a kid that can excel, he's big, he's fast, he can do everything except for hold on to the ball. If I can put him in a spot, say on the line, especially on a young team when you can block, if he can block, that's worth its weight in gold. I try to rotate him. I try to make sure everybody gets a chance. because you do have to do that, especially now. Everybody gets to play, but on the teams that we play for, I have never been the one to advocate for everyone gets a trophy. I don't think that's right. We have to learn the other side of it also. If somebody's better than us and they beat us, that's okay. That means we have things that we need to work on to correct it, to have it not happen again. If we win, we still have things to work on. I never, ever, ever do that. You're always getting better. You never hit the flat of we just never get better, or my kid can do it all. He doesn't need to work anything. I had actually an argument with my son last night, driving home. I asked him what he did at recess today, and he said, "Oh, he just went over and was kicking a ball around or something." And I said, "Well, what was your buddy doing?" He said he was playing football. I said, "Well, why didn't you play football with him?" And his words exactly to me were, "I don't need to. I'm good enough." And my daughter was sitting in the front seat, and she came unhinged because I have told her, we practice to get better. You're never, ever good enough to just stop and just say, "I'm good." And my daughter looked at him and she said, "At some point, someone is going to surpass you because you won't practice. If you don't play and practice, especially if you can play something without it being a quote-unquote practice." I played football probably every recess besides winter growing up. And that's just how I got my knack for it. That's it. If kids can do that, kids need to run anyway. As much non-aggressive, and they've got to get rid of energy. They've got to. I do a lot of drills just to run that right out of the gate when I do my practices. Right out of the gate, I'll make them run. I make them run just to get the pent up energy from sitting at school all day out, so they will actually sit down and listen and practice. In my experience, first and second grade boys, especially, if you do not run them, you're going to have a mess. It'll look like a mosh pit at Megadeth in the 90s. That's what your practice will end up looking like, and you don't want that. That is a nightmare. I have been parts of those, and they are not good. They do not end well. But you're always going to have a few kids that are, I don't want to call them problem childs, but I don't know how else to really put it. And I'm not degrading anyone, but you're always going to have the kids that are goof-offs, or they don't want to listen, or they don't want to do this, or they don't want to do this. And I don't want to ever tell anybody, okay, that's enough, especially 5 to 8 year olds. I never ever want to tell a kid, okay, you're done, you're off the team. I kind of approach that situation a little bit different way. Of course, you have to acknowledge what is going on, and you have to bring some form of accountability to them. They have to know that. And one good way I have figured that out is through, if they're messing around or not listening or disrupting the practice, I'll make the whole team do something they don't want to do. Push-ups, barrel rolls, bear crawls, running, whatever it is that day that they do not like doing, they will do. Because I will tell you this much, kids will correct the situation faster than any adult will. If you have a group of 7 and 8 year olds that are sick of doing push-ups, they will correct that one that is out of line. And that kid will accept it more than it will be from me telling him to sit out, which he benefits nothing from, or telling him to, you're off the team. That does no good either. It doesn't do him any good. That means I didn't do my job in helping him either dislike or like whatever sport he is playing at the time. I've never been a big fan of the you're off the team, or run the whole practice. I'm not going to do that. But there are shorter ways to that to get to them. And I'm not downplaying or telling parents how to parent. That's everybody's choice. I'm just telling you, in my experience, that's the way I have handled things. Girls are a little more, they're more vocal than they are. It's the chitty chat is what I still have problems with that with the 11 under team. And I approach it the same way. I don't punish the one girl, we'll punish the whole team. And after so many times, that team will tell them, knock it off, be quiet. And it's easier coming from them. It's not me pointing them out or singling them out. But that's how I approach it. But that all factors into the whole teamwork type of a deal. You have to be, for whatever time that is, you become basically a family. As you get older, you're going to play more games. The more games you play, the more time you're going to be around each other. You might as well have it be a cohesive team. They have to stay together. They have to depend on one another. And that has to work everywhere. If you look around, everything is in groups of teams. From say that fence. That fence is a team of pipe that holds that gate together. Okay? A house it's held together with a team of different things. Screws, siding, trusses, wood. It's all teams. A majority of things in this world are held together or run efficiently or run properly through a network of teams. It's all pieces and parts, and that has to be modeled for those kids as they get older. They have to understand that. When you go to work in your life, a majority of people, especially in my age group, which I'm in the mid-40s, the 90s, grunge rock, all that fun stuff. But, our parents were destined for a 40-year job. They were going to stay in their job for 40 years. As it's progressed now, it's a different, especially with all the COVID stuff going on and people working from home and finding out they can do things at home. It still requires a team. You still have to have a team. Unless you are completely by yourself, that's the only time it doesn't require a team. But you really have a team. I have a team. I have a team every day of 3 other people, and that's my family. That is a team. And at some level, every person around has a team. Maybe they don't realize it, or maybe they don't see it, but it is there. Okay? I can't emphasize that enough. You need to get through life and realize that teamwork in your life is going to be evident in pretty much all aspects of your life. The good times, school, college, work, everything is going to be in teams. Even when you get really old and you can't help yourself anymore,